Now, I'm going to introduce the great Robert Atkinson. I didn't actually realise he was going to be here. He's my past catching up on me. Robert's been a fantastic mentor to me back in Adelaide. We've done some really crazy stuff in the public hospital system. Robert is an orthopaedic surgeon and he's a master of bureaucracy in Australia. All right, I'll leave you with Robert. Thank you.
David, thank you very much, and Paddy, thanks for inviting. And I think I'm going to join this organisation. Well, no apologies, the same words are coming up all day. Leadership, accountability, responsibility, transparency, communication, avoid stovepiping. It's all coming up and I'll explain that. But being an orthopaedic surgeon and military, you'd expect me to have simple messages, and I do. Aristotle, you'll realise, was the student of Socrates who took poison on principle. Ethos, pathos, logos. Very simple leadership. Now, but it doesn't go back, it goes back a long way. I mean, the Sumerians were scratching away on little clay tablets. What fascinated me this morning with this capturing of the data, with paper you can burn it and eat it. But what's happening today, will it be around in 3,000 years? Given what I heard this morning, I reckon it could be. But whatever you write, just think, if it could be on the front page of the advertisers tomorrow and you're not embarrassed, then it's worth doing. Don't do it otherwise. So, Sumerians, Romans, Byzantine. Now, the word Byzantine comes from a village, which is now Istanbul, and it's a word that goes for ducking and weaving in a bureaucracy. It's become an adjective. In Confucius, we had the West, and we've got the Chinese influence upon their bureaucracy, and they had a big system where you had to pass exams. It was very complicated, and Kipling said, East is East, West is West, never the twain shall meet. I think he was wrong. He might have been right then, but not now. Everybody's meeting, so you might say in Western culture it goes me first, family second, community third, and then Eastern culture, community first, family second, me last. That's a pretty broad generalisation, but nonetheless to combine those, I think, is happening. And Hong Kong, I reckon, is one of those places they're doing it. Now, what drives bureaucracy? You know, the words bureau is a French word for desk, and ocracy, I think, is sort of Greek for political power. So it's desk power. And you've seen two sides of that, the receivers and the givers of that today already. So one of the drivers around the world is tax. So any community wants to make tax, any good bureaucracy wants to fund themselves, get bigger. So large opportunity in the 18th century in British, and would have been around the world, not just then. And there are many names that you can add to this, and go to Wikipedia or look it up, you can see Voltaire, Napoleon, Karl Marx, etc. And I like the Soviets, because they were very good at their bureaucracy. And there are many other anecdotes that you can travel through. There was a gentleman who was told by the commissar in his shoe factory, you must meet this deadline in 6 months. Can't do it, can't do it. Comrade, have you heard of Siberia? Well, we will do it. And he did it. They met their quota, all left shoes. And what happens in the West with our bureaucracies? I mean, you've got Thatcher, Reagan, Brexit. The British saying, we don't want elected people over us. Trump, and what are they trying to do? What's the promise? And the promise is, they're going to cut the red tape. They're going to drain the swamp. It is popular. People want to do this. You get votes doing it. I didn't talk too much about vote catching, but remember, it's about votes in marginal seats. That's what it's about. Now, I spent a bit of time in Rwanda, which is not a good place, I can tell you that. And I had to go through to Kigali to get Ghanaian wounded and bring them back. We called Nairobi robbery. If you've ever been there, you'd probably figure that out. Yeah. So I came back, we got the wounded, and I paid for everything on my credit card. Airport tax, flights, everything. Got back, said to the paymaster in the army, please reimburse, got all my receipts. Oh, Doc, you can't do that. Not in our system. I thought, whoops, that's a fairly big expense I'm carrying here. My wife is going to kill me. However, he said, your army number is almost the same as mine. We would have joined together. And I said, yes. We served together. Yes. How much would you like? So he gave me the money. Nepotism and cronyism is a powerful force. Is it a sustainable force for good? I don't think so, but it's a powerful force out there. So let's start on that list, accountability. And to be accountable for what you do, that is so critical, and it's come up again and again in different slides. What do you do? I go to meetings. What do you do? I go to meetings. What do you do? I go to meetings. What do you go to meetings for? So process and outcome are a balance. If the process is the end in itself, you're going around in a big circle. So that leads us to Petronius, and it's probably not him, but it goes back. I'll leave you to read that. And it might resonate with you. If you're in a system that's churning along, and people will change things. We had a Surgeon General once, he'd come up, do an inspection, say, paint the joint. He went, and they knew about that. So in New Guinea, the boys painted the joint. He turned up, looked at the place and said, paint the joint. We finished it yesterday. Paint it again. So it wasn't about painting, it was about churning and playing the game, which is demoralising to people. Absolutely demoralising. Responsibility. Value the job. If you like your job and you do the best you can, you'll enjoy that. But the respect of the people around you, that respect, that's come up a few times today. Respect the people. May not agree, but respect. That's a pretty hard sell sometimes. Transparency. That has come up a bit today as well. So if people can see what you're doing, and the whole is greater than the sum, you're working together, it starts to develop a team. So transparency, so people can see. They put cameras in dark alleys and spotlights in dark alleys. It changes behaviour. So if people can see what you do, I think that is a good thing. It empowers them and values you. And good communication. That communication has come up time and time again. Vertical, horizontal, up and down and around. So that you're not working in isolation and find out that down the road someone's doing exactly the same thing. So you've suddenly doubled up. You wasted energy. Well, once again, that's a very demoralising thing. It's a good communication between people, absolutely essential in any bureaucracy. So knowledge is power. If you keep it to yourself, that, I know this and you don't, that's a powerful thing. And it stops people. It's demoralising, but it's the power of the powerless. And not so easy as you saw this morning to keep secrets these days. You can go to that laptop and find things from months ago. And avoid stovepiping. And the classic there is in an operating theatre in a public hospital. I'd put on a tourniquet. My message is getting lost here. Put on a tourniquet and say to the anaesthetic nurse, "Would you blow up the tourniquet? That's not my job." Now, in most areas, people will just go and do it. But she's right, it's not her job. But if people work together, if you multitask a bit, do your job properly, not at the expense, then work together, the tourniquet gets blown up, and it's easy. So that's part of that team play of seeing, in the end, it's about patient care, we're working in the same area. So back to where we started. So responsibility, accountability, transparency, communication, and avoid stovepiping. I've covered those. And my good friend Aristotle, ethos, pathos, logos. So leadership, that was the thing that it's come out as well. It's the thing that pulled it all together. And the mother of modern management was Mary Parker Follett, about the 1920s. The mother of modern business management. Nobody knows who the father is, but she's the mother. Leadership comes from ability and not a place in the hierarchy. So it doesn't matter what level you are in the system, you can still lead in your little patch. And that's infectious to other people. Ethos, that's your value, that's your ethics. If you put your hand in the till, people see that. So it's okay to put your hand in the till. So gradually you get on this circle of imploding. And it just changes the whole structure. But if you have good values, good ethics, people see that. And that's also going the opposite direction. It encourages that as well. Pathos is your passion for the job. If you care about what you do, it's infectious. And what I see today in these talks is people are passionate. I mean, their message is good, but they're passionate. It's infectious. You get it. I'm awake. It's not bad for an orthopaedic surgeon. Sorry, Gary. And logos is the tools. I'm sorry I woke you. I'll sleep later. The tools for the task, and that's where you don't have so much control. It depends on other people. So you can get a little caught out there. And in boards and various organisations, you have cartels. People get together. You have cronies, you know, the drinking mates, and put the blockage up, and we'll fix so-and-so, and we'll have a little talk around here. And the wreckers, the little wreck systems as well. So they're out there. You've got to be aware. There are people out there that do bad things. Some want to kill us. We should remember that. So that, but there are people out there who are bad. So you've got to keep that in mind. And I think one of the ladies said you've got to care for these people. I agree, but you don't have to die in the process. You know, you've got to look after you before you look after them sometimes. So in 3,000 years of civilization, people learn things. I mean, I come from a very short history of civilization. We ask the impossible, and the possible will emerge from one of the ex-presidents of India. Mr. Chairman, ladies, gentlemen, thank you.